MekdelaFootball is a community service project created by me and a couple of friends. It involves us coaching the football or soccer team of the public school right next door to ICS. Well, the idea came to me during the summer when I heard of a certain young foreigner who created a football team in Ethiopia, a sort of amateur football team. So me knowing that I had to do a community service project for the next year, I thought that this would be a good blend of community service and my passions, you know.
I joined MekdelaFootball after first hearing it from one of my friends. It was his idea originally, and he came up with it, and we discussed it early in the 11th grade. So this was mid-2012, and we discussed it, and I liked the idea. I thought it was a great community outreach program, great form of community service, but he needed people to do it. We needed a team to do it. It wasn't a one-person job, a two-person job. We needed many people on the team to make it happen. So I joined the team to make this happen.
Football, as everybody knows, is a very popular sport around the world. Many are interested in it, both watching it and playing it, but few at ICS or basically around the world, especially at this age, have the opportunity to actually coach a team. There was a lot of interest from football aficionados who wanted to have the coaching experience. Everybody thought it would be an interesting project for their cast.
Coaching, it's a totally different experience. To train the students and to come up with different drills, it's a totally different experience than playing. Because now we are actually guiding the students to do specific drills for different skills. So it is a different experience.
We're learning a lot of important skills in organizing this, because there are 21, 22 people on the team, and they're the same age as us, but we are in charge. There has to be a learning curve for us, because we're both 17, 16, 18, we're all in that range, but we are organizing, so we have to learn. We have to have the skills to make it happen. So there's a big learning curve for us. We're learning how to manage many people. We're learning how to work in a team. We're learning how to organize weeks ahead. We're learning how to deal with the administration of our school, of other schools, of their school, saying, you know, we'd like to play a match against your school. When can we do it? And we'd have to get the correct letterhead. We'd have to write up the letter. So we've learned a lot of skills in this process.
I had a really hard time knowing the names of the individual players. But throughout the time, now I'm able to identify each player, and so I think like as a coach, you start like becoming familiar with the players, and then every practice after practice, you started finding out like what the story behind different players is, and some of the stories just they're inspirational, and it makes you think like the difference between those students and us. So like looking at that comparison, I think it definitely changes you as a coach, and you become more aware of your surrounding, definitely. You know, Mekdela is like across this ICS, and it's a different world, and getting to know each individual and like finding out the story behind them, it's definitely inspirational. So as a coach, I think I've changed and I've become more aware of what's happening.
The greatest challenge in this activity is working with my friends to make it happen. Because when you're working with your friends, you have that kinship, you know, you're like, oh, you didn't do it, don't worry, we'll get it happen, we'll make it happen. You're not as strict about your deadlines, you know, you have an understanding, oh, it didn't happen, okay, we'll do it. So, you know, sticking to deadlines is not as important. What's different about MekdelaFootball is we have 22 people who are depending on us. Okay, 22 people who are our responsibility. And that attitude between friends, oh, we'll make it happen, oh, don't worry about it, is not something you can have when people are depending on you. It's very much, you know, like parents. The children are dependent on them. If they had that attitude, don't worry, you know, children will suffer. Same thing with this. We have 22 students that are dependent on us to make something happen. So we have to find a way to work as friends in a way that doesn't compromise our responsibility to these students.
Over the last few months, the team as a whole has improved considerably, both tactically and physically. Players are more motivated, they work harder in training, they put more effort in. Also, they developed a tactical side to their game which had been lacking previously.
ይህ ፕሮግራም ማለት ከእለት ወደ እለት እየተሻሻለ በመምጣቱ ማለት እኔ መጀመሪያ ላይ ትሬዲንግ መስራት ከጀመረን ጀምሮ ማለት በቃ ዝም ብለው ነበር የመሰለኝ ሲመጡ ማለት ነው። ትሬዲንግ መስራት ዝም ብለው ነበር የመሰለኝ። አሁን እየተሻሻለ መጣናል። ሁላችንም የኳስ ፍቅራችን ጨምሯል። ይኸው ማለት ልጆቹ ቀሩ ነበረ ቀስ በቀስ አሁን እየተሟላን ነው። እስከ 24 ነበር የነበር አሁን 21 ምናምን አካባቢ ደርሰናል። በዚህ
The progress is incredible. At the beginning when we started it was a bit chaotic. Not everyone was showing up at the beginning, first of all. So during practice times we have to repeat several practices again and again because not a lot of them attended the practice dates properly, so that was a problem. But as time goes on and as we started coming up with different drills and also coming up with different games, the students started taking it seriously. And especially after the game against ICS, they knew that we're here seriously and that like we're trying to give them the proper kind of experience in terms of training and having games. So I think after that they started taking it seriously.
አይሲስ ጋር በነበረን ጨዋታ በጣም ጥሩ ጨዋታ ነው የተጫወትነው። በዛም ምክንያት ጥሩ ጨዋታ በመጫወታችን ምክንያት 3-2 አሸንፈናቸዋል። በዛን ሰዓት አንድ ጎል ነው ፔናልቲ አስቆጥሬያለሁ። በዛን ሰዓት በጣም አስፈልጋለሁ በማሸነፍ እናም የአይሲስ ኳስ ተጫዋቾች ጎበዝ ናቸው። ከነሱም የወሰድነው
This CAS activity is like a bridge between our school and Mekdela, and it has definitely strengthened the relationship between the two schools. One of the advantages of this activity is like because our school is more aware of Mekdela now, it's expanding the different service this ICS provides to Mekdela. And for example, after our soccer coaching activity, there are different interested students at ICS that want to build the computer lab in Mekdela. So if it was not for this CAS activity, the relationship between the two schools wouldn't have existed. So it definitely have opened the eyes of ICS to Mekdela.
አሁን የሚሰጠው ስልጠና በትምህርታችን ላይ የተለያዩ ለውጦችን አምጥቷል። አሁን ለምሳሌ ስለ ቦታ አያያዝ በኳስ ላይ የተለያዩ ነገሮች እንድናቀርብናል። አንድ ሰው ኳስ ስላየ ወዳየበት ቦታ እንዲሄድ ሲሆን ቦታውን ጠብቆ እንዲጫወት አይነት መሰረት ሰጥቶናል። ስለዚህ ስልጠናው በኳስ ክህሎታችን ላይ የተለየ ተጽዕኖ አምጥቷል ማለት ነው።
ብዙ ለውጦች አይቻለሁ። ድሮ እኛ ስንጮህ ዝም ብለን ስድብ ምናምን ነበረ ስታጠፋ ሳደባት ሰው። አሁን እዚህ ጋር ፍቅር ነው እንዳለ ስተትን አረመ እንደዚህ አድርገው ምናምን ይላል ጓደኛ። ማንም ከማንም አይበልጥም። ሁሉም እንትን ይላል ይነጋገራል እንደ ወንድማማች።
በትምህርት ቤታችን ውስጥ እንትን ታላንት እያላችሁ የማይታዩ ልጆች አሉ። እነሱ ይታያሉ።
ይህንን ፕሮግራም ሌሎች እንዲተገብሩት ወይም ደግሞ ሌሎች ልጆች እንዲያገኙት ትመክራለህ?
አዎ በጣም ያው ለምሳሌ ሰፈራቸው ውስጥ ሆነው ያው ትንሽ ችሎታቸው ወጣ ያላሉ ልጆች የተደበቁ ስላሉ ያው በእኛ እግር ኳስ ስታንዳርድ መሰረት ደግሞ ማለት ብዙ ያጥቂ ድክመቶች ይታያሉ። እነዛን በእንደዚህ አይነት ስልጠናዎች ልንቀርፋቸው እንችላለን።
There are several activities at ICS that have action and service and also creativity, but Mekdela stands out because you are going out to the community and providing real service where we teach soccer, and it's something we love to do. So that's what makes Mekdela special, because of its service qualities and because it has something that all of us are passionate about, which is football.
Most community service activities are actually initiated by ICS, and students basically hitch a ride with those activities. Students simply continue activities that have been started quite some time ago. This activity is fully initiated by students, by myself and a couple of my friends. This is what makes it stand out from the other CAS activities at ICS.
I think what's special about Mekdela football is that it's shown other students in our school that you can go out there and make something happen. Because historically, ICS students have just joined up on community service activities that have been pre-existing at the school. Set up by teachers, run by teachers. But I think what MekdelaFootball has shown the ICS community is that students can go out there and make something happen. Students can go out into the real world and be involved in service, real, tangible service. So I think it's shown students that their power